Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the country. Please, if you're watching this, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up to help with the visibility, join this community. I'm really excited. We're growing. This is awesome. Watching the video here, you get true engagement. I care what you have to say. Let's get into some fights in the comments. Let's have some good discussions, and ultimately, let's just have some fun. So without further ado, we're with Colin Cowherd and the Herd, and where he's talking about the Dolphins. Are they the best team? Do they deserve praise? What's the story with them? Let's find out.
They deserve. So I was thinking about this. Let's take a profession. We were talking about media. Let's say sports writer. And let's say for 23 years you were a sports writer. Not necessarily terrible, but average. Win a lot of awards. Nobody really talked about you, feared you. And then one week, you write a really good column. Finally. And you demand to be respected for that column. That's the Miami Dolphins. 23 years is the last time you won a playoff game. 23 years of nothing remarkable. This past weekend, you didn't win a Pulitzer, i.e. a Super Bowl. You didn't even win an award, i.e. a playoff game. You beat a Dallas team that's talented, but strangely bad on the road. Your super high-powered offense, which you're so proud of, let me see here, generated a single touchdown. And if not for a bad exchange at the goal line, Cowboys go up 14-3 and probably win the game. Miami is constantly seeking validation and respect. Let's give us some credit, Colin.
Yeah, see, that doesn't really make sense I agree with what he's saying. It doesn't make sense in terms of the Dolphins wanting this respect. You have to earn the respect. I think the Dolphins are a pretty good team. I don't think they're an elite team. I think Tua is a good quarterback, but he is not an elite quarterback. Anyone who's watching those games and thinks that you're confident and comfortable behind Tua, I don't know, man. I think you're just kind of like hoping for the best with Tua. And I like Tua, and I want to see Tua succeed in the league. I want to see him get paid and get a contract. So I am not hating on Tua. It's just, I think he's, a mid-level quarterback. I don't think he's elite. I really don't. I save some of those words like elite to truly mean elite, right? Like you have to have a skill set or even just do one specific thing elite to be able to like get into that category. And I don't see it in Tua. So if you do, please tell me. I only watch so many tape on Tua, so please definitely let me know. But I think the perfect example that I can use with the Miami Dolphins is this. The Miami Dolphins, they won't respect because they're like, well, look where we are right now. Why aren't you guys all respecting us? And this is what happened with the Eagles when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017. They were winning, and they were getting no respect. In fact, they were getting the opposite. They were like, look how easy their schedule is. They're not good. They're getting lucky. They can't win the Super Bowl. This is fool's gold, okay? Lo and behold, even with a backup quarterback, Nick Foles outduels Tom Brady in one of like the craziest Super Bowls ever, and they won. They could not be ignored. They had to keep winning. They got disrespect every step of the way. Every step of the way. I mean, like, really, no one was really saying that the Eagles were going to win. And then, of course, going into the Super Bowl with Nick Foles and a backup quarterback against Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the Patriots, no one was thinking that the Eagles were actually going to pull that off. And they did. And they said they could not be ignored. And then the next year, they had another great run. And then, unfortunately, it didn't work out for the Eagles. This is where Miami's at right now. If you want respect, don't be crying for it. Don't be complaining for it. You have to continue to compete and you have to make playoff runs. People will respect the Dolphins if they make it to the AFC Championship. Make it to the AFC Championship. Get there. Then they will respect you. Get to the Super Bowl and then they will say, this is the real deal. Win the Super Bowl and they will say, wow, we got ourselves a squad. That's unbelievable. That's the way it works. Everyone wants to get paid before they do anything. That's not the way it works. You have to compete. You have to have results. This is a results-oriented, life. This is, I mean, we say this in sports that it's a results-oriented business. That's just life. It's life. And whether you do it in your work, in your job, with your parents, with your children, with your brothers and sisters, you have to show up. You have to have the results. You don't just get things for free. Even winning the lottery, you have to buy a lottery ticket, okay? You have to do something to get something. Things don't just pile on you. So the Dolphins have not done enough to get this respect that they apparently want. And I understand, right? Maybe the Dolphins are trying to like pump themselves up, right? This dog mentality, you know, we're being disrespected, let's go. Which ironically is something that the Eagles did as well. They had this dog mentality, you know, we're the underdogs, let's go. And they were able to ride that to a Super Bowl. And, you know, even last year with the Eagles, right? They were just said, oh, they have the easiest schedule, so easy. They can't beat anyone. They can't beat anyone. Lo and behold, they make to the Super Bowl and are, you know, a last minute play away from beating the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So it's really put your money where your mouth is. That's what it really comes down to. If you want to tell me that Tua is an elite quarterback, show me. If you want to say that the Miami Dolphins are an elite squad, show me. Get to the AFC Championship game. Get to the Super Bowl. Make noise. Beat a legit team and beat them in a convincing way, not in a way that feels like you just got on by. Because that's the Cowboys, they just snuck on by. I mean, that's really what happened with the Cowboys. A key fumble that was not caused by the Dolphins. And I am on the record saying, do not blame the refs, do not blame the refs, do not blame the refs. But it is undeniable that there was some favorable calls for the Dolphins that definitely kind of helped with the game, although I am not saying that's the reason why. But my point is that the Dolphins didn't convincingly win that game. You didn't leave that game thinking, oh yeah, Dolphins are clearly the better team. They clearly got it. And in fact, you see them kind of making their mistakes and messing up. I mean, it was just, there was times that the Dolphins could have really iced that and they didn't. They couldn't. So that's more about the Dolphins' lack of consistency. And I always see this. People always say, well, you know, if they just clean this up, or if they just play a little bit tighter, or, oh, if they just do this. But yes, if you could do that consistently, then you would be elite. That's what separates elite from not elite. They talk about this in basketball. You have players. So you have the elite players, like obviously the LeBron Jameses and Steph Currys, right? They put up 30 points in their sleep. I mean, they can realistically put up 30 points every single game if they want, right? If they're like, I'm going to put up points, they can get their points. That's what makes them elite. Now you have another tier below them where they're capable of getting 30 points in a game and balling out, but they can't do it all the time. And that's like in basketball, your second and third option players. And in your second and third option players, you always hear this in the media, you know, oh, if so-and-so, you know, he played so great, if only he could do that more, then this team would be really good. And it's like, well, yes, if he could do that more and more consistently, then he wouldn't be the second or third option. He would be the franchise player and would be elite and would be a Hall of Famer. But he's not, so he can't do it all the time. He can do it some of the time. He can do it many of the times. And depending on how good you are, maybe you can even do it most of the time. But what makes you elite, more specifically in basketball, is being able to really do it like all the time, right? That's what makes LeBron James elite. Michael Jordan, elite. Kobe Bryant, elite, right? So in football, it's a little bit more forgiving because it's like, you're expected as a quarterback to throw interceptions. You're expected to have bad games. You're expected to have a bad fumble and do this, right? Like it's like, since each play matters so much more in a weird counterintuitive way, there's also to some degree like a little bit more understanding that these things can kind of just happen, even though technically it's more of like a rare occasion when compared to like, you know, sports, to basketball. So I just think though with the Dolphins and Tua, is you put together a really good team, you put together some nice wins, but I want to say, like, honestly, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, please tell me why you think that you are just confident that you can win, that you are just confident that you are going to make noise in the playoffs, that Tua is going to rise to the occasion, that you are going to be able to step up and you are going to go beat Kansas City, you're going to beat the Bills, you're going to be able to beat the Ravens, right? Or you're now going to beat the 49ers or beat the Eagles or the Detroit. I mean, like, I just want to know because I'm not seeing it. I think they can beat all those teams, but you're not saying it with like your chest pumped out and saying, "We got this. We can do this." So that's what I want to say because I'm not seeing that, and it's not to say that you need to be able to have that in order to be elite, but the fact that you want to be treated as a juggernaut when you're clearly not, I find confusing. Honestly, I really don't get it. I think if you're a Dolphins fan, the appropriate way to go into the playoffs is just like we got a really good team, we got a chance to make some noise. I'll be really happy if we can make it to the AFC Championship. But if we lose, I'm not going to say that this season was a bust because clearly, we're on the right track. That's the way I view it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. Do you think Miami's being disrespected? Do you think Tua's elite? Do you think the Dolphins have a legitimate chance at winning the Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments below, and please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the visibility and the algorithm. And please subscribe. Join this community. It's awesome. I would love to see you there. It's growing, it's exciting, and I'm loving doing this. So please follow along and let's do this together. Thank you so much, and see you next time.